Hey guys, I'm Ben.
I'm Tommy.
And I'm Rainer.
We got Rainer with us.
Yeah. He agreed to join us for a small fee that he is paying us, of course.
The big bucks.
Today we're doing a top 20 list. So we've all created a list of top 20 games.
Buckle up.
So, just kidding.
No.
We're doing a top 5 list, and we are continuing our...
Countdown of our favorite mechanics.
Thank you.
Talking's hard.
It can be. It can be. Today we're doing top 5 action selection games.
And we should caveat this by saying action selection may very well be a made-up mechanic.
Yes. Well, it's a very broad topic,
yes,
because you could almost consider anything action selection. I take my worker and I place him here.
That's your action.
I'm taking that action. I am selecting that action. But we decided to go down the route of things where it's not its own... It's not part of something else, right?
Hopefully by the end of the video you'll understand more fully our thought process. Like, I think our list makes sense to us, and you might be thinking right now, like, huh?
Well, my list makes sense to me.
But I think at the end they'll be like, oh,
maybe your
I
list
see.
doesn't make sense to me,
It
or
will.
Rainer's
no,
list.
It will. I think at the
Zany
end,
Penguins is going to show up again.
Best action selection game I've ever played.
Hey, it can be. It's got those actions on the card.
Yes, true.
Yeah.
Anything can be.
Guys, stop.
Wait. It's okay.
Don't stop the video.
No, don't stop.
But keep watching.
Yes.
Tomorrow is our last day for our contest.
It is.
We have a giveaway going on right now.
Please don't miss this
Don't
opportunity.
miss it. All you got to do is you got to go subscribe to our channel. You got to share the video, and you got to paste your link in the comments to that video.
Yes, the link will be both in the description as well as at the end of the video. Don't delay. Sorry, you can...
Sorry, yeah.
Get back
to your stuff. See you guys. Well, let's, you know what? Let's let our guest of honor, who is conveniently sitting on the left side, take the first.
All right.
The first number 5.
My number 5 is a classic. It's Tikal.
Tikal.
It's one of those that I think it was probably one of the first ones, at least one that was wildly popular and well known to have a process where you have a number of actions, and in Tikal obviously they have different costs, and you choose which actions you want to take up to your allotment of 10 action points.
Right.
And I just really like that, because you know that every turn that's your limit of, okay, I really need to do this and this, but I have to do this action.
You have to allocate your points exactly how you need to do it to be as optimal as possible.
And sometimes you have to plan ahead, you have to sacrifice a little bit, and that's one of the things that I think about this mechanism in general, is that it involves sacrifice. It's not just taking actions, it means you're giving up something else in order to perform a certain action that you want to take.
Yeah, good choice.
Wonderful.
I like Tikal. Good game.
I guess that's me.
I guess
Unless
so.
you want to be weird and like...
Well, we could do
jump
a
around.
dice tower thing and go, now you're going to go next, and then I'll go next, and we'll just do that.
I think they copyrighted that.
Well, hopefully they don't sue us. We'll try it, and if you never hear from us again, you'll know why.
All right, my number 5. This is probably one of my weaker games I've chosen for any list.
Zany Penguins.
No.
It's never
No, I don't think this will come on any list ever again. But I was looking at the games I played, and this one was unique enough. I feel it doesn't get talked about enough. But I enjoyed it, and it's Imperial.
Oh, yeah. I'm trying to think of how this...
So Matt Gertz's Rondel.
Right.
Yes.
Where you take the...
Yeah. So it's a Matt Gertz game, similar to many of his other Rondel games, where you have a piece and you move it around the Rondel, and you're welcome to move 1, 2, or 3 spaces. If you want to pay, you can go further. But those are the actions. So you're selecting your action based on a limited selection with the cost of being able to take different actions.
Right.
But it's just so unique how you can control multiple pieces based on where you have the most stock invested. So it fluctuates that way, and how you can work together with people because you're both invested in the same company. It's just a very unique game. And then undercut them, yeah, and tank that place and have all your stock in it. Like, I don't know, it feels like Risk grew up and became an adult game. Like you're taking over countries, you're fighting, there's war, but there's
I feel like
investing.
it's very much so Risk meets diplomacy with stocks. Risk.
There you have it.
Risk, diplomacy, and acquire.
Sounds like a horrible game, actually. Let's just say that.
I agree.
Don't ever describe it that way again.
If you like Risk, Diplomacy, and Acquire, and you've thought about playing them as one game...
Anyways, it's a really unique... Any Rondell game of Matt Gertz would fit this, but I enjoyed it, so it's one that,
Good choice.
if you see it, play it.
It didn't even cross my mind when making this list.
Yeah, like I said, you probably won't see it ever again on any of our lists.
No, but it's a good choice, and you're right,
Risk.
it is very underappreciated
Right,
and not talked about enough.
Thank you. I'm validating my pick. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. It's going to come back to you in just a second, Will. My number 5, and I'm just going to come right out gunning. Blood Rage is my number 5. I like...
Got it.
Just, yeah, we're shooting from the hip. Just, all my games are just going to be really good.
Okay. Well,
Really good games. I like that you can adjust, you can try to get more and more actions each game. The biggest problem that I have with Blood Rage is it seems like that's what you have to do every time. There's really no... And I could be wrong here.
Yeah.
I haven't played Blood Rage enough, and I haven't invested time into, developing other strategies. But I like this aspect of it, how I can, this turn I only get eight turns. But, I can work my way up and I can get...
Even how you allot that, you can spend 3 of it to recruit this monster, whereas,
Right.
or I can spend 3
Right.
turns in a row and recruit 3 guys.
Right.
So it's kind of a Tikal-esque feel as you're...
Right. At the same time, though, you have a lot more drafting and resource man. I mean,
It's definitely not the
your
only...
rage and such it functions more like a resource.
It's a
you have to
mechanic
pay.
of the game. It's not the soul thing.
Right.
And everything else in here pretty much is the soul.
I don't know, but I agree with your pick.
I don't know if if that's
His
true.
first episode, and he's disagreeing with your first pick.
Well, this will be Rainer's last top 5 list with us.
Enjoy Rainer's presence the last time.
No, and I thought for sure that this one probably isn't going to be the only one. But I feel that it has that action selection, and it's not only do I play a card, I can also use it to move, or I could use it to farm the resource. It's not.
Hey, it's your list. You can.
Yeah, well, we like controversy here.
I can see.
Thank you,
It may
Ben.
not be. Thanks, as a number
Ben.
5, it makes sense. But if it's like your number 1, I might.
No, for sure.
Not invite
No,
you
my
back for
my
next
number
episode.
1's definitely gonna. Oh, really? It's apparently my last episode too.
Tune in next time as I go through my top 30.
No, I think my number 1's gonna be a little bit more. Well, maybe not. We'll see. Anyway,
Blood Rage.
Blood Rage. Why don't you
This is gonna
moment for pause?
Really, yeah. Transition.
Number 4.
My number 4. Let me check my list.
Uh-oh, he forgot.
Did not forget.
I'm like staring at mine, so I forget.
This is Lords of Vegas. I've been wanting to play this one a lot lately. That's why
Your
Tommy
list is
just
just-
shakes his head.
Your list is just games I haven't played in a year.
But they're games that I love. So Lords of Vegas, you are
Fair
a
enough.
casino owner of multiple casinos. And it's cool. It's very free-form. The actions that you take, you get 1 action on your turn. Actually, you get multiple actions on your turn, actually, I think about it. You can do as much as you want on your turn. But there is a set list of actions that you can do, which are reorganizing casinos, trying to take control, or building on lots, or gambling at other people's casinos. And it's a very clear-cut, defined list of actions you can do. And the only thing that you're limited by is your money. And that's it. So if you want to go blow all your money gambling, first off, try to get more money to manage the rest of your actions for your turn. You're free to do that. If first thing you want to do is make sure you build and create a bigger casino, so you're more likely to get paid out next time, you can do that. And then with what's left, go gamble. Or you want to take over this casino because that's got a lot of chance of being paid out later, sure, risk it. Pay a whole bunch of money. Lots and lots of luck in this game. But I think
kind of game.
it is your tying of the game. But the action that you choose, or the actions and the order in which you choose them on your turn, can really make this game strategic.
I don't know if I thought about that necessarily as an action selection.
I just like that they're
But
very
it's your list.
clear-cut actions. Thank you.
It's a great choice, Ben.
Rainer.
Rainer's is
I'm more
probably
interested
terrible.
in Rainer's opinion on this one. Have you played this?
I have not.
Okay, good. Rainer can't disagree with me. Lords of Vegas.
My number 4, I'm going to side with Rainer on this one, Tikal. This was probably the first or second game that I thought of when I thought of action selection. And yeah, action point allowance, but I mean, for everything Rainer said, this game is just amazing. The tiles come up differently, and I'm pretty sure every game I've played of this, the game has been like, every player's been within 10 points of each other. Like, it's always a tight game. And I love this game. And I also have the Super Meeple version.
I'm going to spoil my list and say that it is not on mine.
Well, you're wrong, but that's
I am wrong. But my commentary will be that I feel like it gives a great depth of freedom with the different actions you can choose and the order in which you choose them. But the actions that you can choose are quite...
Listen to this guy over here.
Limiting...
So embarrassing.
No, but the actions you choose, you only have so many actions you can choose, but you're very free in how you perform them, and I feel that allows for a lot of opportunistic moments in the game.
There's only, 6 actions or something like that? But how you take them and when you take them. And
there's a lot you can do on your turn.
Yeah, exactly. Agreed.
My number 4 is Blood Rage.
It's such a punk.
For all the reasons that
Rainer gets big props on that.
We're done. We're not finishing this list. There'll be our top 2 actions. Our 5 and 4 action selection games.
No, for all the same reasons that you said. The reason why I put this one higher than Tikal is that in Tikal you have it's such a pure action selection. You have all the same actions all the time.
Right.
In Blood Rage, you also have the challenge of creating your own options.
Yeah.
Because you have to decide, well, which ones and how big should your pool of rage be? How much do you go after that? Because you also need all the other things. I think from a pure action selection, the action point allowance, Tikal is the pure one. But Blood Rage is the more engaging and interesting there.
Yeah.
And the fact, like you said, you can have cards that are multi-use and multi-purpose and stuff, and there's some bluffing aspects in it and stuff, and sometimes even piggybacking off of other people's actions.
Oh man, that made our game one time. It was epic. Yeah. Good choice. I agree with you. Actually, terrible choice. That's the worst. Whatever. You guys suck.
But I think that was pretty good. Thank you, Rainer.
Number 3.
So I am still really confused on how we're doing this order thing. Where do we start now?
So I'm starting now. And then we'll start back up with Rainer.
Okay.
Yeah. It's simple, Ben.
Okay.
Keep up.
I have a hard time.
My number 3 is either the first or the second game that I thought of. Whereas Tikal was either the first or the second. This is the other one.
Depending on which one Tikal came in, this is the...
Right, exactly. And that's Puerto Rico. Okay. And a lot of people are going to say San Juan is better. A lot of people are not. I think that Puerto Rico is the better game. But also, I just love this game. I really want to play... I know there's an expansion for it that makes the buildings different or whatever, so you're not playing with the same buildings every turn.
That would be...
And apparently there's some strategy where you have to go this route and do this, and you always have to do this, and I'm just... I'm not that into it. I like the game for what it is.
To get to that point, to be honest.
Exactly. But I like the game for what it is. I like how tight the game is. And we've been over this, our last list.
Tommy loves tight.
I do. I really like that tension and not having... I told you not to do that.
That's why I did it. Exactly why I did it.
I really like having that, feeling like I'm being squeezed for everything the whole game.
Well, and it forces you to make clever plays.
Right, exactly.
And that's really rewarding in itself.
Exactly. Agreed.
I agree that, either Puerto Rico or San Juan is a good pick for that. And it gives you the same feeling of...
Right.
Ooh,
they're both tight.
Yeah, if I pick this action, I let you do it, but I get this benefit.
It's less a game of what's benefiting me as what's most opportunistic.
Yeah.
Because, there's always that clear cut, I want to do that. But that's not the most opportunistic option.
Yeah.
Wonderful
My number
choice.
3, Puerto Rico.
Rainer. Choice. My number 3...
You were so ready.
I'm still super confused how this is going.
My number 3 is Scythe. And what I like about Scythe is that, again, you have all the actions that are open to you, except the action that you took last.
Right.
and all the other the actions are otherwise there, and your primary and secondary can be in a different order, but you always have the same main action, and the fact that you have to know the next turn, I cannot take the same action. And it's surprising how often that happens where I just
wish I could move again.
Yeah. But I also like how this is a game where the actions change because you get to make them better, and even though you have the same core actions, it might be that mine is actually cheaper for me than it is for you. And I really like how that flows, and how you have to play into your faction, the strengths of it, and how you manage your resources and your presence on the board. And the actions that you take will be very different depending on which stage in the game you're
and where you start and
Yeah.
who you are. And yeah, I agreed. It's a really good choice.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Now it's my turn, right?
No, we're going to skip to my number 2.
Then we'll come back to my
back
3
to
after.
your 3.
My number 3 is also a game that I might get crap for, but I accept it.
Here it comes.
It's Hanamikoji. Oh, yes. Hanamikoji.
Gosh dang. Why are you picking games that I can't remember?
So, little card game where you...
Oh, good choice, Ben.
Right? Right? Okay, good.
Good choice.
Okay. So,
Little
you have
two-player.
2-player game is you're trying to fight for area control of the different geishas on the table. And there's a lot of hand management in this game.
For sure.
But the way it works is you have 4 different actions you can choose from. And the order in which you play them is pretty much the game, aside from which cards you play and where. But it's interesting because you could play the one where you're going to, I split and you choose first, lessening your hand, or you can play the one where I'm going to stash a card that I'm going to play at the end of the round, increasing a greater hand size. So the order in which you play those and the way that the rounds evolve is you and your opponent are each playing those 4 different actions over the course of the round is really interesting.
Good choice.
I don't know, it's a very simple game, but I feel like the choices you're faced to choose between the cards you have and those tiles make for a nice...
And a surprising amount of variety considering that you only have 4 actions and 2 players.
You'd think like, oh, I'm going to do this every turn.
Yeah,
Nope.
it's one of those that it's deceptively simple in how you approach it, but then the
easy
variety,
to learn.
It's like, ooh,
Years
if
to
I do this
master.
action before that one, that really changes.
There's a huge, the order in which those go.
No, it's.
Yeah.
I agree
Thank you.
that you're picking games that I didn't even think about. Wouldn't have made my list.
There are good games, but you pick ones I wouldn't have thought of.
No, actually, that one's really good. I probably would put that at my number 6.
Yeah. As far as it's light, it's simple, it's quick. I think it's a
Spoiler,
great
it's not on my
game.
list. All right, number 2, Rainer, go ahead.
My number 2
Confused,
is one that is unfortunately out of print,
Oh,
at least
you were right.
in the United States, and that's Ginkgopolis.
Mm.
And this is another one where you actually don't have a lot of actions to choose from, and it's basically, I mean, every turn you pick one of your cards, and you perform an action, and you don't have a lot of options as far as, well, what am I doing? But as you continue the game, certain actions will give you greater benefits, and you will be able to collect resources or score points. And the game will continue to evolve and really change the value of these actions. There may be some where you are now increasing the board as you're playing a card and you get to add a tile. Well, then there are other times when you get to play down a card, and now it stays in front of you, and now that's a card that will increase and improve actions that you take and so forth. Really enjoy this game, and it's
Kind
one
of
that
like how
it's
San Juan with where you play
yeah,
a card and that building will help you when you take this specific action.
right. Except that in Ginkgopolis, then each of the cards, when you play them, you have multiple. So the same card can be played a couple of different ways, and I really enjoyed
This
that.
was the first game that McKenna and I played with you.
Yep.
And
Once again, I was not invited.
yeah, well, it was like the first time we had ever decided to meet back at the keep.
Yep.
Keep.
The keep.
Sketchy.
Yeah. Good choice. I don't remember a lot from it. But as you were explaining it, remnants were starting to appear. My turn?
You intrigued me. That's all I can say. I honestly have no idea what it is. I'll just go on. I'll go on.
Trying to confuse you. Go ahead.
I'm thoroughly confused. You've accomplished
Your
that.
number 2.
My number 2 is one that has been talked about already. Is Scythe. For all the reasons that Razor said. For all the reasons that Rainer. No, for all the reasons that Rainer said, is deceptively simple in that you have the 4 actions spaced on your board that you can move and take. But it allows, because there's so few, because you can't take the same one twice, you're able to plan ahead in a way that makes the game very satisfying. And you can also kind of account for those same actions for other players. You can say,
right. At least they're not going to move this turn.
Yeah, at least I can say he's not going to do that, and he can't do that, and he can't do that, which makes it easier for me to make my decision.
Right.
So just really unique, and the way that your actions can get better, and you can focus on one action, given that you upgrade the different parts of it, and that's different by faction, is just really cool. It does action selection really well.
Yeah, good choice.
Because it's your number 2.
My number 2 is actually Scythe. Relatively unknown game.
Scythe, huh?
Scythe, yeah.
Scythe.
It's very similar to Scythe.
Oh yeah.
Action selection with you have a board and you can't take the same action twice in a row.
Fair.
Yeah, very nice art. Very very similar to Scythe. A little different though. It's too bad this wasn't your number 2 though, because that would have been just.
It was our first 3-way crossover, mainly because it was our first 3-time list.
That's right.
No, this game is one of my favorite games. I could not have not put this on
According
my
to
list.
many BGG goers, it is also one of their favorite games.
It's a great game. I love this game, and can be tight, which is why I love it.
If I don't have to hear that word again the rest of the evening, I'll be very happy.
Tight, 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 tight. I'm going to say it until it's not a word anymore. My number 2, Scythe. Great game. Check it out. Buy it right now. It's amazing. All right. Number 1.
Are we 3-way rock, paper, scissors?
Of course.
Does that work?
Of course.
Can I lose to 2 people at once?
Probably.
You can.
I will.
Okay, so we go rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Yep.
Okay. Oh my gosh! That is amazing!
Incredible!
You can't win to do that at the same time.
Oh, how does this
So
work?
we have to do it again. Yeah.
Are you? How about you guys just go for? I know I won. That's it.
You won.
And I'm going first.
You going first.
I'm going
and
first.
And then who?
And then you, and then Rainer. We'll let Rainer start the list, finish the list.
Yeah, I
So
like
that's
that.
appropriate.
It is appropriate.
My number 1 is also
Farewell.
semi-anticlimactic. It is Puerto Rico. Once again, for all the reasons we discussed earlier, it is very. Oh, I can't believe I'm going to say this. It's very tight. The game provides for very tight moments where there are limited quantities of things.
Because all the resources are so tight.
There's limited quantities of things. And there's a race to get to them, and the decisions that you face on your turn, like I said earlier, I really want to ship this turn, but it'd be silly to do that. There's a more opportunity cost to do that than there would be to wait until someone else takes that, because I'm not benefiting from it. Even though I'd like to do it now, I'm gonna build instead, because I get a whole bunch of coins first off.
And it's fun to take that action that you're the only one that can benefit from. It's like,
yes.
Sometimes you make a suboptimal choice because you know that if you do it now, no one else gets a benefit.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
And you're not getting a lot from it, but you're getting infinitely more than everybody else is getting. Yeah.
So, and then the way that the roles kind of play off each other and the timing of different ones based on what the people do really makes it
If anybody
interesting.
has a 10th anniversary edition, please send it my way.
Or just make the expansion. Just print it. Come on. What are they doing? Sheesh.
They changed the name of this on BGG. They changed the name of the Puerto Rico 10th anniversary edition to something else. So I don't know. Maybe they're
Costa Rica. What do you mean?
It's the wording. It was no longer 10th anniversary edition or whatever it was.
Edition or something.
Yeah, something like that.
Collector's edition.
So, right. So maybe they're gonna do. Maybe they'll do a
20th
reprint.
anniversary.
Anyway, my number 1. Quite possibly the best game of this year, in my opinion, at least so far, and that's Rising Sun. I love this game. And the way that the action selection in this game works, having that alliance where you can be like, you should take this action. And you could lie and you could be like, I can't. Or you could tell the truth and be like, look, I can't, but this is going to be more beneficial for both of us, so why don't I do this one? And then you can benefit from that. Or you can just be like, yeah, I know you want me to do that one, but I'm just going to betray you right now. Like, this game, so much to this. So much to this game and the choices in it. You only have 4 choices, and sometimes it's possible that you could only have 2 choices. But still, those 2 choices, you're not... For example, Puerto Rico, you always have those 5 choices, at least when you're the first player. Right? You always have those choices. Somebody takes it, then you always have the next choices. You're never limited in the choices that you can make other than what everybody else has picked. In Rising Sun, there's that one aspect of luck where it's like, I want to take this action, but I can't because it's not available. And I love it in this game. I think it takes Puerto Rico and it does it way better.
I agree, it's a great game.
Kami.
But for me, it's more of a action drafting because you are so limited to the actions that you can take.
I can appreciate that.
And the area control aspect of it is also so important.
So is your number 1 also Rising Sun?
It is not.
That
would be hilarious. But no, it's not.
No, I agree with what you said. Like, it is interesting, and I think that there's very few games that do action selection with...
It is.
With a... Whoa. Just wait. That do action selection with this semi-cooperative negotiation, like, you know, maybe this action isn't benefiting me, but if I can bribe him enough to, you know, maybe it will be worth. But like you said, the fact that you can, you know, there's, 5 different actions?
5.
And you can draw 2 of those 5 when you really want to do something. It can kind of be a bummer. Like,
I don't know, I think it adds so much to it.
That one clan that lets you choose whichever
man.
one you want. That is interesting.
Yeah. And I can go on and on for days. This is probably going to make quite a few other top 10 lists, just throwing that out there. Or top 5 lists.
Well, spoiler alert. Thanks, Tommy.
My number 1 is Bruges.
Okay.
It is not Rising Sun. No, Bruges, and again, this is one where all of the actions are available. You have these cards that are multi-use, so you can put them down as buildings or as people that live in the buildings, or you can play them for the actions that are listed. And every card has the same action, but what really makes this interesting is that the color of the card, there are 5 colors, and the color has such a huge impact.
Yeah.
Because you can play it to collect money, but if I play the purple one, I get 6 coin. If I play the yellow one, I get 1.
Yeah.
And
but I want to play that purple one so that I can build the building because the building is amazing.
And I need this purple is the one that I need to move in there because I need his special ability. And it is fantastic.
Agreed.
It's a game that it's so easy to play and you feel like you have all the options. When in reality you don't. It's kind of like the same dilemma as you would have in San Juan or Puerto Rico, where sometimes that action that you know you can take is much better to save for later, or sometimes you sacrifice it altogether because you need to do something else, and it's a really good game.
See, as I was scrolling through my BGG stuff, and I saw this, I was like, "That's a good," but I was like, "No."
Rainer's going to put it on his list.
I can't cross over. No, I think the big deterrent for me from putting this on my list, because it probably would have been, is it feels almost more like a hand management game to me. I feel like that's where the action selection comes from, is managing your hand.
Well, I think a lot of action selection games have that hand management, and I agree.
Or resource management.
That some games, you know, and this is a really interesting list, and maybe it's too broad. Because, you know, you could almost say Concordia.
See, it's a rondel game, almost like, you know, that's why I didn't want to put that, because it's better than Imperial, but it's, once again, I feel it's more like a hand management game.
Fair enough.
I don't think any of my
I think I'm going to jump on Ben's boat here. I think it's a great game, especially when it comes to selecting those actions.
Yeah.
But I almost think that action selection-ness of the game is more so hand management and deciding, you know, do I take this? And I mean, we're just getting into semantics here.
Nitty-gritty,
Well, and I think that's the because otherwise the only one of at least on my list that is purely action selection is Tikal.
Right.
And it's one of the few that is actually both a good game, and that purely does that.
Right.
Yeah.
Most other games
Well,
have
it has some
else.
area majority.
Yeah, but in the end, it's still like most other games.
I don't think of that as
the
a
driving
majority.
factor.
Right.
Yeah. Driving factor is the.
You're not going into Tikal like, hey, what's your favorite area majority game? Tikal.
Right.
It's
Just wait for our list. It's coming.
No, but I do think it's a great game, and
Yeah.
again, I'll side with Ben on this one.
And you can thank Rainer for putting 2 out-of-print games on his list. Not cool, man.
Well, out of print in the United States, at least.
At least.
Just go to Europe,
Just
go
gotta-
find it.
Yeah. Take
No
a trip
problem.
overseas.
I wouldn't be surprised if they come back.
Bruges?
Especially
Bruges.
Bruges.
Yeah,
For
especially
sure.
Bruges, but
For sure. I mean,
Ginkgopolis.
Stefan Feld's
Ginkgopolis you
games
can
are-
find. I mean, it's still in print and it's a completely language independent
Yeah.
game. So that one you can still find it and.
Yeah, I think you can find
Get it.
Bruges, can't you? I don't think it's...
But that one you have.
You're
That one you
paying a
have.
pretty penny
You
for.
have words on the cards.
Yeah.
So you have to find it in English.
But if In the Year of the Dragon and Notre Dame are any
Right,
indication,
exactly. That's kind of what I was thinking.
maybe you have a chance.
especially since Bruges is the better of the three.
Yes.
Agreed.
Anyways, thank you for joining us and tolerating us and just all around liking us, maybe, hopefully.
I don't know.
Probably not the latter. No.
We can dream.
Make sure you do like, comment, share, and subscribe, and keep posted for our next few top 5 lists. And we'll see you guys next time. Thanks.
See ya.